Hey, what's up everybody? Jake here and welcome to the hobby. I'd like to tell you that the Pokemon market has cooled down over the past 2 years and now there's tons more products for everyone to collect. And in some ways that's definitely true, but in other ways it simply isn't. And what do I mean by that? You might not know this, but over the past week, some modern Pokemon card sets have reached their all-time highs in terms of prices. And that includes Sun and Moon Team Up as well as Sword and Shield Evolving Skies, a Evolving Skies booster box based on TCG player data. Over the last year, you could have picked up a booster box for as low as $120 and now they are currently going for upwards of $420. And very similar kind of scenario with Team Up, where a year ago a booster box would be going for around $800 and now a booster box is going for upwards of over $2,000. So definitely some serious climbs when it comes to modern Pokemon card sets. And right now, a lot of collectors are so hungry for what's next. They want to know what the next big set is going to be. What's the next big win? What's the next set that's going to climb in terms of value? I think right now might be a great time for us to just take a step back and look at the whole entire collecting space, from the most vintage sets to the most modern sets, and give you a holistic picture on where everything stands over the past couple of years, what has climbed, what has dropped in value, and let you make your own educated decision on what you want to collect. If you think some sets are underrated or overrated, if you think modern is overhyped and vintage sets are soon to climb, maybe this video will give you a better understanding of the market as a whole. So at the end of the day, you can come up with your own decision on what you think the best opportunity right now in the hobby space really is. So first, let's talk about vintage Pokemon cards. Where does vintage currently stand in 2023? When you look at the vintage market as a whole, vintage has definitely taken a major hit, a real blow to the gut right now. For most graded Pokemon cards, you're seeing a decline of right around 60% from their all-time highs. That means a Pokemon card that used to go for $10,000 is now going for right around $4,000. A card that used to go for $100 is now going for right around $40. And that is the current typical case for pretty much all vintage Pokemon cards. You're seeing about a decline of around 60%. How does the sealed product market look? The sealed product market for vintage is usually a really strong blue chip. And what that means is it doesn't really climb that fast in terms of value, but it's usually a pretty steady valuation. And vintage sealed products has not really done all that well either. A lot of sealed products has actually decreased a little bit in value. I'm seeing right around a 20 to 30% decrease in value when it comes to vintage sealed products. And if you're holding on to something that's actually really in demand or really prevalent or rare, something like Skyridge sealed products or the original English base set, then those have kind of stagnated. They haven't really climbed in value, but they haven't really decreased in value either. So what does that really mean for you if you're someone that's really into vintage cards like the Neo Umbreon or the Shining Magikarps? Where do you stand? Well, you're someone that's into vintage Pokemon cards. A lot of those cards have pretty much reached the bottom in terms of their prices. I don't think they're going to go any lower, but I don't really think they're going to really climb in terms of value either. Who knows when the next big Pokemon bubble or hype is really going to happen, because a lot of people are simply too aware of the value of vintage Pokemon cards. In fact, a lot of moms and pops, which usually sell their cards for incredibly cheap prices, now think that they are sitting on an absolute gold mine, even though they really don't have anything that rare inside of their vintage collections. It's usually just a bunch of jungle, common and uncommon cards that aren't really that valuable even in modern times, but they think they are sitting on thousands of dollars when they really aren't. So if you're someone that is really into collecting vintage Pokemon cards, I would say right now is really a buyer's market, because you can really pick and choose when to pick up cards. And if you're someone that's really into auction sniping and getting the absolute best deal possible, now you actually have a shot of getting some really great looking vintage Holy Grail cards. I'm not saying that vintage is really going to go up, but if you are into collecting those cards, now is definitely the cheapest time in the past 3 years to really collect any of these cards. So that's pretty much the vintage market. Now let's talk about the modern market. And for modern, I'm going to split it up into two different parts, and that includes the Japanese modern as well as the English modern, because these kind of operate in their own sphere. So let's talk about the Japanese modern market, which has really caught on fire recently. A lot of modern Japanese Pokemon card sets that people simply didn't care for a couple of years ago are now going absolutely bonkers in terms of prices. There are so many Japanese Pokemon cards that have an English counterpart, but the Japanese counterpart is going for thousands and thousands of dollars, while the English side is just simply not as rare. And it's really a god-awful time to be a Japanese collector. If you're someone that's really into Japanese Pokemon cards, because there is a ton of really cool, desirable cards inside of the Japanese sets. They usually have better quality, different holo pattern, and in general, they're just really gorgeous cards. Unfortunately, I don't think the modern Japanese market is really appealing right now, even for someone like me, which really champions the Japanese sets. I love Japanese products, but the prices are absolutely insane right now. Every single modern Japanese Pokemon card sets is going for 4 or 5 times above retail price, which is ridiculous. As someone who's currently living in the United States, I'm well aware that it's a privilege for me to get any Japanese products at all, because these products really shouldn't be available to the North American market space. They should pretty much only belong to the Japanese space, but they do have exclusive products, and I'm willing to pay a premium for those products. Usually the premium that I'm willing to pay is up to a 2 times multiplier. So a booster box in Japan usually goes for right around $40. I'm willing to pay up to $80 to $100, and that's really on the high end. But what we're seeing now is modern booster boxes are going for upwards of $200, and that really just draws me away from the Japanese market. So if you're someone that's really into collecting Japanese products, I would say now might not be that great of a time to pick up some products. I would actually look to products that are a couple of years older, just because these products, their values tend to be a lot more realistic. They're still very expensive, but realistic, because these products are out of print. The hype for them has kind of cooled down, and what I'm talking about are older sets like VMAX Climax, Tag Team GX All-Stars, and some of the slightly older special sets that are really cool and have tons of exciting cards, and they are out of print, but you're staying away from the absolute most modern hype, because every single brand new modern Japanese Pokemon card set is hype to the moon right now, and I just want to avoid that, because it's simply not really fair to be paying a multiple on a brand new Pokemon card set that just got printed a couple of weeks ago. That's just too expensive for a brand new modern Pokemon card set, and it's not the kind of situation that I really want to be encouraging. So that's pretty much the modern Japanese market space right now. Pretty much every brand new set is just really expensive, and if you're someone that's actually into Japanese products, I would say go for products that are at least 2 years or older, and those prices are probably a lot more realistic. They're still pretty expensive, but these are sets that are truly out of print, and whatever price they're currently going for is a lot more deserved than brand new sets that are just a couple of weeks old. So let's talk about modern English Pokemon cards right now. What are some of the most popular modern English Pokemon card sets? Right now, the word on the street is pretty much any sets with trainer gallery cards are probably going to be the most popular sets in the next couple of years. This includes Brilliant Stars, Astral Radiance, Lost Origin, and Silver Tempest, and that probably doesn't really surprise you. As far as modern Pokemon card sets go, all these sets are really exciting and are a ton of fun, and none of these sets are really out of print. All these sets are currently readily available at retail price, and there's a strong abundance of them. In fact, Lost Origins, Brilliant Stars, Silver Tempest have all had major restocks and reprints over the last couple of months. You're seeing a lot of stores restocking Lost Origins booster boxes, going for as low as $130 to $120 for a booster box, which is really exciting time. If you're into collecting any of these modern Pokemon card sets, I don't think those are bad deals for any of these products. I'm not really saying that they're going to climb, just because, like I said, they're brand new modern Pokemon card sets. But as far as the community goes, it seems everyone is convinced that these sets are the ones that are going to climb next. But that creates an interesting scenario, because if everyone thinks that these sets are going to go up in value, then everyone's going to hold 6 booster boxes of them. And if everyone has 6 sealed booster boxes of Lost Origin inside of their collection, how likely is it really that it's actually going to climb in value? There's just a ton of people hoarding it right now. The reason that Team Up really jumped the most in terms of value was because it was actually truly underrated for the longest time. It's a really exciting set, but what do I mean by it being underrated? How could such an exciting set be underrated? Well, the interesting thing about Team Up was that it never had a major reprint. There was one release of Team Up booster boxes, and that was pretty much it. They never added any additional supply to the product. So that's why Team Up booster boxes are so expensive. A lot of collectors, even the ones that have been around for the last 5 to 10 years, don't have a Team Up booster box inside of their collection. So if you're really into collecting modern Pokemon cards, I would say it's no harm at all to have one sealed booster box from pretty much every modern Pokemon card sets. But any more than that, and that's when you're starting to play with some more major risk, right? If you have a booster box case of Lost Origin and you really believe in it, go ahead, you can keep it inside of your collection for the next 10 years if that makes you happy. But if you are holding that many of a specific set, just be aware that there's a ton more supply for these modern sets than you might think. So when it comes to collecting modern, all I can really say is proceed with caution. I would actually probably prefer collecting something that I'm more confident there will not be additional supply of, even if it's a little bit more expensive. And what I mean is I'm actually probably more likely to pick up an Evolving Skies booster box, even though it's going for $400, just because I know that it's much more likely to truly be out of print and there isn't any additional supply of Evolving Skies booster box. Whereas for something modern like Lost Origin, the Pokemon Company can continue to reprint and restock it for the next year. We don't really know how much true supply there are for any of these modern sets, so that's what I mean when I say proceed with caution. I would much rather spend a little bit more money on some slightly older sets that I know are truly out of print rather than offloading all of my money on modern sets that can continually be restocked. So that's pretty much my 2 cents, and that's how the whole entire collecting space currently looks right now. Vintage is definitely taking a major dump, especially on the graded Pokemon card side. And when it comes to modern stuff, it's definitely a risky topic. I would say proceed with caution. For both modern Japanese and modern English, I am still focusing on buying products that are right around a year to 2 years old and stuff that I know are truly out of print rather than going for something that's brand new, that's being restocked right now. Yes, you can buy these products at a cheaper price point, but they have such a long climb ahead of them. I'd rather pick something up that has a much better chance of climbing in terms of value. That's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any questions at all or comments when it comes to the collecting space, I would love to hear about your guys' opinions or questions about the hobby, and I would be happy to answer all of your questions. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment, leave me a like, and I will see you guys next time.